Here are some images that you may recognise. This series of monochromatic family portraits were taken during quarantine and have been shared on social media over 75,000 times. The artist behind these images is Rowena Meadows, a documentary photographer based in Melbourne, and she joins us now. Hi Rowena, tell me, what inspired these images?
When I first started hearing about the lockdown and how long we were looking at being in quarantine, I started thinking about how people were going to manage their physical and emotional boundaries when they're spending so much time with people in their family. And I started to hear the word enmeshed. I think it's something I might have learned at university about families where their individual identities kind of blur and end up becoming like each other. And I thought, how can I express that in a photo? So I thought about how we could all look the same in a photo, and obviously choosing a colour and dressing in that one colour seemed like a way to start. So yeah, I only intended to do just one. My family actually cooperated really well with me, which they don't usually do when I want to photograph them. So that was just something in the act of seeking out all those colourful items that was sort of bonding, and there wasn't too much conflict for the first one. So I thought maybe we could do some more.
The response was huge. They were even published in the Good Weekend magazine. How did that feel?
It was surreal and great. I still am shocked how the photos were received. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I'm just grateful for the attention that it's brought to my other work. So it's been great.
That's incredible. You've actually started your career in psychology. How has that helped shape you as a documentary photographer?
I consider my psychology training to be my whole training for being a documentary photographer. Both careers are really about making sense of what it means to be human, and both require an unbridled curiosity in human behaviour. So I think with being a psychologist, I would listen to people's stories and perhaps reflect them back to them with my words. When I spend a day with a person or a family, I am experiencing their life and living with them for a day, and I reflect back what I see with my pictures. Seeing your life reflected back to you in a book can be incredibly validating, and in some cases, if it's done very sensitively, therapeutic.
Tell me about your Day in the Life series.
Yes, so I spend around 10 hours with a family or a person, and I just exist in their world for the day. I encourage them to keep it as ordinary as possible. I go to soccer practice, the supermarket, public toilets, like wherever they go, I go. And the idea is just to make an honest as possible reflection of an ordinary day. The photos end up in a book. And a book is the most important part of the process. It's not a choice.
Most people these days tend to share their images on social media. So why do you produce books?
A lot of times when people hire a photographer, the photos just sit on a hard drive. They never get printed. Maybe they print 2 or 3 that go on a wall or on social media. But there's something about the tangible act of having a book. A lot of my families, it's a ritual where they will all sit down and pick up the book and look through it, and particularly if I revisit them once a year or once every couple of years, they'll end up with a tangible family history that they can pass on for generations.
Yeah, incredible.
All my clients end up with a book. The book is the best way for me to control the narrative. It's a very intentional process, the selecting of photos and the sequencing. I need to make sure I have visual variety. I need to make sure I have a balanced representation of the people in the photographs, their relationships. I'm really passionate about the book.
You print your books through Memento. Why is that?
I love Memento. I've been printing with them for, I think, 6 years. They are obsessed with the craftsmanship, and I am so impressed with the way they handle my colours. Honestly, it just feels like a collaboration working with Memento. I call them up with the dumbest questions all the time, and it always feels like we're working on something together, and I love that.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on this interesting interview in COVID-19, but I've enjoyed every second.
Thank you, Maddie. I love talking to you.
If you would like to check out more of Rowena's work, head over to rowenameadows.com.au. And to start your own photo book today, check out Memento on the link below.